NFL on Christmas. What do you guys make of this? Because traditionally, Christmas Day has been all NBA.
Yeah. And something that I look forward to greatly.
Big time. Big time. The NFL has now said that they will play games on Christmas. And it is the Giants and the Eagles at 4:30 Eastern. And I just don't love that idea. I don't love that idea. Will you guys watch the NFL or NBA? My guess is if we the Chicago Bears. If the Bears were on Christmas Day, I'd watch the Bears.
Right.
But generally, I am more likely to watch NBA than I am the NFL on Christmas Day. Mm-hmm. Now, we'll see what actually happens when we get there because I'm a huge NFL fan. I think you guys know that if you've watched the show.
And I think, one of the things that I always think about when I think about TV during the holidays, one of the things that I think is so underrated factor-wise is that, hey, like in Salt Lake as an example, hey, it's cold, should be snowing, should be a lot of good food in the fridge. Like, the reality is I don't have to watch one or the other.
Right.
I can watch both. And on one hand, I hate this out of the NFL. On another hand, I love it out of the NFL.
Why do you hate this from the NFL?
Because I just think that as a kid, I grew up, loving NBA on Christmas Day. 4 games. One of my favorite memories as a young teenager was the Kobe LeBron game where LeBron's in Miami Heat and he's wearing Christmas edition LeBrons and Kobe's got the Grinches on and, LeBron throws the off the backboard alley-oop to himself. And that was one of the greatest NBA moments that I remember. And I think, Christmas Day and NBA go together. It just is that way. And just the same way I think about Thanksgiving and NFL football, I think about Christmas and NBA basketball. And that's the tough part is football is always good. And I'm sure I'll watch a bit of that. And I'm glad it's not some terrible matchup. I'm glad they're doing Giants-Eagles. That's a great matchup. Nationally, that's super relevant. But yeah, I'm probably more inclined to watch a Christmas Day game. Now, here's the problem for the NBA. What really is your best matchups for Christmas Day? Because it used to be Lakers-Celtics, or you could put together really easy, logical
But Giants-Eagles
matchups.
Giants-Eagles is a good NFL matchup.
Yes, it is. That's what I'm saying.
But
the NBA's got to counter.
You're gonna need Celtics-Knicks. You're gonna need Lakers-Celtics. You're going to need Lakers-Warriors. You're going to need...
The Pelicans aren't getting it done, dude.
No, you're going to need major markets, Chicago, New York. You're going to need big-name NBA teams to draw people to the TV because, I can tell you, on New Year's Day, the fact that you're getting Kansas City and Cincinnati...
It's a hell of a matchup.
That's a hell of a matchup, right? And then on... you're getting Black Friday games, which I think is massive. One of the things I really don't understand, can anybody explain to me this affinity with international games? Because I truly don't understand what the Black Friday, I totally get it. Everybody's off of work. 3 Eastern, we're going to get Dolphins at Jets. It's Aaron Rodgers, Tua Tagovailoa by your mama.
Yeah.
It's going to be a big watch. I totally understand that.
Yeah.
But are you really excited for Falcons and Jags in London? For Jags and Bills in London? Ravens and Titans in London? Dolphins and Chiefs in Frankfurt? Colts and Patriots in Frankfurt?
Yeah, well, I think I'm not excited for that, but I think the NFL has made it an initiative to get global with their brand. Because if you think about it, NFL football is not traditionally a global sport. Right?
Sure.
The NBA is a global sport. Soccer's a global sport. Hell, baseball's a global sport, right? You have the NHL, hockey is a global sport, no doubt about it. The NFL is the only one of the core 4 that is not a global game. And that's why I think there's this obsession with global games or international games.
But, this is why the Big 12's going to Mexico.
Precisely.
This is why the Big 12's going to Rucker Park.
Yeah.
And so from that perspective, I understand it. I know why we have NBA games in China. I understand why we play MLB games in Japan.
Yeah.
But at some point, I just think you need to put a team in London. Like, I think it's brilliant to have the Jags play back-to-back games in London because it's a test balloon to have a team live there for several weeks. That's probably 3 weeks in London for the Jags, which I don't think is a problem at all, and I actually think it's the right way to do it, right? You put them in Tottenham, which is just outside of London, and, I mean, I think you feel really good about that.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is that no matter what, I think on some level, there's a bias. Is it fair to put the Jags in London for 2 straight games? I don't have a problem with it.
I mean, I think the reality is if you're the Jags, you'd rather have that than just play one and then have to come back and deal with all the time change. I mean, the reality is, like, it used to be that you'd go and play a London game and then you'd have to come home. I mean, we used to talk about the fact that, hey, like with the Cardinals as an example, they would go out to the East Coast a week before and then they'd go to London. And it's like, bro, like, dude, the time change is real. And these guys are not fortunate enough to play a game like golf, let's say, where it's not physically some beating, like it's a physical sport, but you're not getting hit in the face constantly.
Yeah, and I'm curious if the NFL ever becomes a global brand, because I don't view, much like you said, I don't view the NFL as a global brand.
I think in London, it's a big deal now. I think the NFL has grown enough that in London, it's relevant. Now,
but in Mexico,
I don't think it's that relevant. No.
Look at the NBA in Australia.
Big deal.
Look at exactly right. Look at the NBA in Europe, across the continent.
Yeah.
Big deal. China, big deal. Japan, big deal. The Philippines, big deal. Like you look at the NBA. The NBA is a global sport. I look at soccer/football. Soccer is a global brand. It is a global sport. We were watching Inter and AC Milan today on Champions League on CBS, right? Like, so it is a global brand. I look at the NFL, and I don't believe it's a global brand. I really don't believe that it's a global brand.
Not yet. But I think that's why you're getting so much of that.
Salty Victor's the way. Why can't they get together and structure time slots so they don't cannibalize both products? I think it's going to be interesting to see, James, because I think that's a really good point.
Because I think that's not how business gets done league for league. They're not trying to help each other. They're trying to dominate the day, right? Like, it's become a thing where, hey, we're going to have 4 matchups on ESPN, and it's like the Super Sunday for ESPN.
But see, I'm with Jet Wayman, the Tile King of Utah. NBA on Christmas is amazing.
Yes.
It's something you really look forward to.
There are a few things, and I know I keep talking about it snowing and like the vibe of Christmas Day, but it's like if you live in a market where you get winter, like there's nothing better than eating, leftovers from Christmas dinner and watching your favorite sport on the tube and having it be a cloudy, snowy day and the lights are off and you're just watching it snow and you're watching the game and you don't have to worry about work and you can truly just like chill and like hang out. Like, there's nothing better than that, man. And I think people, like, the NFL doesn't care about that. The NFL just wants to make as much money as possible. But I think if you're a hardcore basketball fan, this NFL thing probably doesn't impact you because you're going to choose the NBA anyway. But I understand why the NFL is trying to do it.
Brandon Butler says, the problem I have is that the NBA season doesn't really start till after the trade deadline now. Well, I actually think that's not true because this in-season tournament's going to change that.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see that they are going to do more and more, like the way the salary cap is structured, the CBA, load management, like all those things that are changing makes it so that star players have to play and games count because of the guys playing in the game. And so, yeah, sure, after the trade deadline, sure, things get ratcheted up massively. But I think that was one of the reasons that they wanted the All-Star game and the trade deadline swap, and I think they're trying to fix that. And I think a lot of the CBA tweaking they did does fix that. But I also think that there's a lot of guys in the NBA who like playing on Christmas Day because those games are generally showcases.
Yes.
Sean Mierzinski, it's unfair for the Jags to have to play back-to-back London games.
See, I don't know about that, though.
I don't think it's unfair when they stay in absolute luxury in London. The hotels are amazing. They are weighted on hand and foot. If they don't want to leave the hotel, they never have to. The facilities there, they play at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Yeah.
I mean, the facilities are freaking unbelievable. I don't know. I'm just telling you. It's not that arduous.
No.
Tanner Plummer, Super Soaker says BYU fans will be tuning in for Falcons Jags because of Tyler Algier.
Yeah.
Could be.
I also think on the Jaguars front, like, it needs to be said that they made a lot of progress this year, getting to the playoffs and doing what they did. Well,
they also hired a hell of a coach.
I know, yeah. But my point is a brand like the Jags would never even be in this discussion 3 years ago, and yet now they're here. And I think that's what the NFL is trying to capitalize on, that momentum.
Yep, I agree. Spangler, I think you're right. Jags want to move to Europe. They've been doing this for years. I don't think they care about playing back-to-back there. I think it's a great point. Monty Rand says Travis Victor will be on the injury list by Christmas.
Victor's the way.
Won't be breaking any records. Travis, Big Daddy Magic says, you just need to change your name to Victor's the way.
Yeah, can you please just do that,
Travis,
dude?
you just need to change your name. The Buffalo Bills will be the greatest thing to hit London since the Beatles. The Beatles! Did you see Josh Allen hit a softball 50 miles? I mean, that guy can stroke.
Rake.
He strokes more than you do. John Menser. I'm excited for those fans getting a chance to watch NFL in person. It's wild.
Yes.
They love it. Salty Victor's the way. Great point, Jake. NFL is popular, but not global like the NBA in Australia, mate.
Yeah, but I think that is why you're seeing all of this. Like, the NBA obviously has done some things, some creative international games or whatever, but you're not seeing them in Europe yet, let's say, or you just see these one-off things out of players and national teams and stuff, but I would suspect that the NBA at some point is going to start doing this stuff too.
I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that at all. Loke Man, nothing should be in Jacksonville. Hand purple blue piece.
Okay.
Jacksonville's not a terrible market. Travis says Victor is a universal brand. If there is aliens, there will be they will watch Victor.
Victor's the way.
Well, I don't know what immigration has to do with anything. Brandon Unruh, NFL is more of a global brand than you think, and I don't see why that matters anyways. NFL always tops the TV ratings. No, you're not wrong.
I mean, I don't doubt that they'll get viewership.
Just comparatively speaking, when we're talking about NFL versus NBA, I think the NBA is a far more global brand.
Yeah.
Frankly, I think the funny thing is it's the stuff we don't think about. Like the NHL. By the way, please Edmonton win. The NHL, I think, is a far more global brand than the NFL. I think that if you look at where hockey reaches in the corners of this world, I mean, it's all over Europe, Russia. I mean, hockey is a big, big deal on a large portion of this planet.
Yeah.
American football is not played at a high level anywhere but, America.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big part of it. And while I think there's outreach, I think the African, emergence in football is huge. But I also think the African continent also is a huge basketball market.
Yes.
I think the expansion of Basketball Without Borders and NBA Africa and the NBA sponsors a league in Africa. I don't know. I just think basketball is a far more inexpensive sport, and so much of the world is impoverished.
It's accessible, dude.
There you go. Thank you.
It's accessible.
Thank you. That's the word that comes to mind.
Soccer is the most accessible, but NBA is right behind it.
But I also think that Papa Murphy's Pizza is very accessible.
At Papa Murphy's, we do more than just pizza. We do meatballs and marinara.
Papa Murphy's does meatballs?
Oh, I think you mean I do the meatballs and marinara?
And how do you do it, Dad?
How do I do it?
Well, we do it with savory ground beef
Covered in tangy marinara. That's how, honey.
At Papa Murphy's, we make great pizza.
And don't forget the meatballs.
Order now at papamurphys.com.
Papa Murphy's Pizza. Make sure you get the Papa Murphy's mobile app on your phone. Super easy to use. And you guys, if you haven't tried the marinara meatball yet, I think anybody in the comment section that has, you know the greatness of it. You know the greatness of it. It's phenomenal. Use the promo code Monty25 to get 25% off your purchase at $25 or more at Papa Murphy's Pizza. Coming up in 2 minutes, it's Monty Makes You Money. Salty Victor's the way. Australia had 55,000 at a USA versus Australia exhibition game a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you that Australia is likely one of the most underrated countries in the world.
Yeah.
I truly.
Well, it's such a unique situation. I mean, they're really the only country that's essentially an island setup where you have to import everything and you're just out there. Like,
I think you look at that part of the world and you look at the Fijis and you look at the, New Zealand. But having been to Australia and Queensland specifically, dude, I love that joint.
yeah.
I do. And donuts. The Raider game in Mexico City last year was crazy. Tequila, sombreros, the fans went crazy.
Yeah.
They loved it.
Yes.
They loved it. Brandon Butler. NFL is an event every week. NBA is every night thing. NFL will always dominate in the U.S.
Agreed.
Totally agree.
Agreed.
Kurt says, I firmly believe Australia doesn't exist. Oh, dude, it does. Trust me, the flight is forever. Forever.
Highly recommend Delta One.
Spangler, Australia is Western, completely untapped.
Yes.
I'm telling you, it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. All right. This hour of the Monty Show is presented by our good friends at Bucked Up Energy, the official energy drink of the Monty program. Bucked Up, here it is right here. It's been kind of an off-the-rails show because we took some buckshot, friends.
Yes.
Buckshot is where it's at. You guys got to hook it up. I'm telling you, it's clean, long-lasting energy. I absolutely love it. It does not have any notable calories in it because it's clean. It's got things like B12 in it. It is absolutely everything you want. It's not full of sugar. It's got 100 milligrams of caffeine in it, and it just gives you a mental lift. I love them. I want you to try it for free. In the description of this here program below, click the link that says free buckshot. Get 6 of them. Any flavors you want. They'll send them right to your front door for free. Thanks to our friends at Bucked Up for doing that because we are the only ones. We are the only ones that they gave a buckshot free sample to. So our viewers are the only ones that get them. If you're listening on our podcast, hello, Spotify. Do you know our largest? This is kind of crazy. Our largest foreign market on our audio podcast. Anybody want to guess what it is? No guesses.
Philippines. Germany. Your
I don't
mom's
know why
house.
I'm being a dick about it. My mom's house?
Yeah.
My mom's
that's
house.
That's a foreign,
Dude, you're baiting me into making some kind of obscene joke about my mom's house.
Where is it?
My mom's house? It's in Los Angeles.
No,
What do you mean?
the
where is
Spotify market.
Where?
You're casual.
It is, in fact, currently this week, Milan, Italy.
Wow.
Crazy. How did that happen?
No idea.
I have no idea. London, England, usually it is. But Milan, the Philippines are very, very close. But we love everybody that listens on Spotify. Thank you very much. Thank you. If you're on Spotify, will you fucking subscribe to the Monty Show on YouTube?
Monty program.